Hey, what's up, everybody? So there's a lot of things that go into creating a website conversion and creating something that happens sustainably over time so that your website doesn't just sit stagnant and you don't have your leads kind of trail off. And today's episode, I want to highlight a presentation that I did for a group of people a while back. I thought it really resonates well with getting to the major components of what has to happen. What are the two levers that have to be pulled in order to create a conversion event? And so without further ado, I want you to go through and watch this presentation or listen to it if you're on the podcast. My name is John Aikin. I'm the CEO of Web Canopy Studio, and this is the Website Conversion Show. Let's say you get into a car wreck. Luckily you're safe, but the vehicle is in bad shape. So you get it to the maintenance shop and you agree to the estimate and you have them go ahead and get started on the overall repair of your vehicle. And while you're chatting with the service manager, you notice the guys in the back put a big smile on their face, grab their buckets and the water and the soap, and they start washing and waxing your dinged up vehicle, putting all the finishing touches on the car like you're getting ready to take it back. You're immediately going to be like, what the hell are you guys doing? Why aren't you trying to fix the engine? Why aren't you trying to rebuild the body? My car won't even start, and you're trying to wash and wax the car like we're done. Why aren't you trying to make this thing run the way it should? And that, my friends, is exactly why most marketers fail miserably today. Who cares what the content you have on your website is and what your buyer personas look like and what words you hope to rank for someday and what posts on social media are going to get engagement if you're not actually closing enough leads to make your business grow? This is literally the issue with why marketers get stuck in what they are doing today and why most agencies really are not that great at actually doing what they say they're going to do because they get lost in the stuff that really should be considered ongoing maintenance of their vehicle and not the core focus of making it run as perfectly as it should. I think we can all agree that Hubspot is an absolutely amazing tool. Unfortunately, though, Hubspot doesn't do much for lead generation out of the box. And it isn't going to automatically generate leads and book meetings for your sales team unless you put the right framework behind it. As a result, we as marketers and business owners have to spend hours writing content, writing blogs, getting lost in marketing tactics, hiring overpriced consultants or agencies that show us vanity metrics but never actually move the bottom line. It puts our job and our success at stake. Here's a quick example of what most marketing looks like. Meet Maria. She's the marketing director for a fast-growing SaaS company, and she's literally drowning in her new role and has so much pressure on her to succeed. Maria is completely overwhelmed in nonstop production mode because she feels that in order to prove her value, she has to be constantly putting out new information on behalf of her company. It doesn't help that she also seems to get a million things piled on her plate constantly from other people either. This is literally a live look into Maria's life on most days. So what does Maria do in order to help make her life easier? Maria gets her boss to allow her to hire people or to outsource some of this work. She's trying to offload some of the things so that she can make some real progress towards her goals. But what is the actual goal here? Is it to have a tremendous amount of production and output, or is it to actually generate leads and sales? If you don't know the ROI of those employees or those vendors, then you have a real problem. And what is really sad is that this is almost precisely what every single marketer is hoping to get to do. Let's remember that organic content and SEO can take about 6 to 9 months to really show any good fruit. And that's if the content is even good in the first place. After doing strategy and keyword research and all this extra stuff before even getting to write the content, they could be looking at about a year of implementing all this stuff before even knowing if it's going to pay off. And at the end of it, if she's lucky, she'll be able to point to a customer or a few customers that came through the entire program flawlessly. So why is that model dangerous? Well, first off, if you don't have clear insight into your numbers, like how many leads you need to book your next call, how many MQLs you need to pass on to sales, and what process should be in order to nurture them, you're in real trouble. That means you have no predictability into how to make your company grow faster. Your sales team has to chase deals and do their own digging rather than getting people booked on their calendar for them. Again, you could be waiting almost an entire year just to prove a model works or it doesn't work. You could outsource all your SEO and content, yes, but you and I both know agencies and consultants charge astronomical fees for vanity metrics and not results. And trust me, guys, I've lived on this side of the fence for the last decade. I know what agencies do and how they try to spin the numbers so that they look like they're performing well. But if you're paying them $10K or $20K or more, and you're not seeing that come back at least 4 or 5 times, then we have a real problem on our hands. And lastly, marketing positions are typically the highest turnover out of all positions in the company. So if we go back to Maria, let's look at what she should have done. In reality, she needs to flip her thought process on how the company brings in clients and build a system that is actually scalable so she can predict and control what happens with her growth rather than getting stuck in constant production. So how does this happen? This is the flywheel. Most of you are familiar with this image. If not, it's HubSpot's methodology for how your marketing should operate. However, what I want you to realize is following this process and starting in the attract phase is exactly what I said in the example with Maria. She starts in the attract phase, but actually ends up never really making it all the way around the flywheel. Therefore, she's never really impacting sales. This is where every agency and guru are also going to spend their time before they get fired. And in fact, most of these agencies are going to build you entire proposals around nothing but services that exist in this attract phase. So the question becomes, should we really be putting effort and energy here first if we weren't booking enough calls and closing business at the rate that we'd hope for? What should actually happen, the way you're actually going to get results for your company, is that you need to flip the flywheel. You need to start by working on the engage stage first. We're going to focus on the conversion into a sales call first and then work our way back to attract. In order to grow your business, all metrics boil down to just 2 different categories of improvement, 2 different levers that you can pull in order to generate better revenue. And these are the things that we will focus on with you immediately so we can set the tone and get the revenue metrics moving in the right direction. We call these 2 levers the machine and the fuel. To be summed up differently, this can be addressed as averages and volume. These are the core pillars of our service that makes up everything we do in our business. So step 1, the first thing that we need to work through is building the machine. Your company needs a consistent mechanism or series of mechanisms that you know without a doubt will book net new meetings for your sales team. If your conversion rates are low and you don't book enough meetings for your sales team, then we have to improve that first. What good does funneling traffic from organic or paid content or keywords and all this SEO do if we don't have the proper system in place to know with 100% certainty how we're going to turn them into clients? Next, step 2, we pour fuel into that machine. When the machine is built, we now have to fuel it up constantly in order to make it run at max velocity. This is about increasing the volume of perfect fit leads into your new mechanism. Remember, we are flipping the flywheel, so the machine is where we start, and now we're working backwards through the process. It's at this point when we really want to start addressing the attract phase of the flywheel after the machine is built, not before. And that's how we're going to start getting the perfect fit clients to enter the machine. At the end of each episode, I like to kind of give a quick recap of the really important things to take away from this. And from this particular piece of content here, this snippet from that masterclass that we had that presentation for, the things that are really sticking out to me that I want to highlight is around the 2 levers, right? The 2 levers that have to be pulled in order to create ongoing conversions. And the first one is building a machine. That's where you have to spend the most of your time initially. If you have a website that's getting tons and tons of traffic and it's not converting anybody, you're kind of wasting your money and wasting your time, right? We have to make sure that we have the machine first, then we go and get the fuel. So we can pull the lever of conversions, which are averages, and we can pull the lever of traffic, which is the fuel. So that's really it, guys. I also wanted to remind you, if you have not done so, if you have not done so yet, please take a second and check out the website conversion assessment. It's on our website, webcanopystudio.com/assessment. I think you will get a lot of value out of the results that come back after you take this 30-question quiz. It'll give you a ton of insight into how you're performing, how you're doing, things you might want to address, how you might want to look into fixing stuff in the long term and in the short term. And I honestly think the feedback that we've gotten from people who have gone through this has been phenomenal. So please take a second, fill that out, website conversion an assessment. It's on webcanopystudio.com/assessment, and we'll see you.